Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am so happy to see you here. And in today's video, I thought that it would be a perfect idea to share my top 10 tips that I wish I knew before I started college. And I know that can sound very intimidating and you're only concising it down to 10. I know that can definitely seem overwhelming and whatnot, but trust me, this is coming from a college senior. I'm going to be graduated in a year from now, which is literally the most terrifying thing in the world. But I have honestly had such a great time in college, but I've also had some rough paths and I definitely have learned from my mistakes in a good way. So I thought that this would be really helpful just to give you guys some tips and to be kind of aware of what to look out for and ways to make an effort whenever you are a freshman in college, or even if you're sophomore, junior, it doesn't matter. These are just like things that really have helped me my time in college, and it has continued to help me. So I thought that it would be very important to share this, and this would be really helpful for a lot of you guys. And if you guys are interested in any college and lifestyle fashion related content, please feel free to like this video and also subscribe to my channel down below. I would very much appreciate it. And also, this is back to school week on my channel, so I announced this on the beginning of the week on Monday whenever I filmed my what's in my backpack video. But I am doing a full week of back to school related content from Monday through Friday, from August 10th to August 14th, and doing a lot of things that I feel like would help a bunch of college students coming in, or if you're returning. I feel like these are all really helpful things, and these are things that I definitely would have wanted to see whenever I was going into college my freshman year. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get on into the video. Number one is be organized and get a calendar. And I know that is such a basic thing. Literally just buy a calendar. Yeah, you can buy a calendar and you can keep it there, or you can be very proactive with it and use it to schedule out your time, schedule out your classes, so that way you can be as productive and proactive as possible. It can be really overwhelming to start to memorize your schedule, especially if you have a really busy schedule. So keeping track of what classes you have when, especially any extracurriculars. So say if you're a student athlete, obviously you're going to have practice times. If you are involved in a honor society or a sorority or fraternity or Greek life, obviously you're going to have meetings for those. So say that you have an exam on Friday, obviously you're going to try to put as much time to that exam as possible. So packing up a bunch of other meetings and whatnot might not be the best idea, but if you know ahead of time to prepare for those accordingly, that can save you so much time and effort, and it can just make everything a whole lot easier for you. So I definitely recommend buying a planner or a calendar. I know that some guys obviously are going to be like, well, I'm not going to buy a planner, but I feel like even if you just have a calendar, just knowing your schedule and knowing what you have to do for that week, the next day, the next month, that is really helpful for me. And I am personally a visual learner, so keeping track of my schedule that way has always been beneficial for me. Number two, this one is obviously not as much school related, it's more, or not as much academic based, but rule number two, not everybody is going to be your friend, and that is totally okay. So I am personally go to a smaller university. There's not a ton of people, and especially if you go to a larger university where there are thousands and thousands of people, obviously you're not going to be friends with everybody, and that is totally fine. That sounds very harsh and whatever, but just because that you like somebody doesn't mean that they're going to be your absolute best friend, and that is totally fine. I think it's so important to have a small group of really great friends that you know that you can always rely on, rather than having a bunch of friends that you don't feel like you could really go to or get advice from or anything like that. Just making your own circle and making sure that you are happy with your friend group, and making sure that there's not anybody that's in your life or in your circle that is going to deter you from doing your best while you're at college, or trying to get you to do things that you don't want to do. I know that sounds very common sense, but a lot of times people like to manipulate their situation. They can get you into a lot of trouble, honestly. At college, this is not free. You are paying to be there. You are paying for an education, and if you are not benefiting from it, you're wasting your time and your money. So just making sure that you are around a good group of friends that are going to encourage you and uplift you to literally do your absolute best. It is so freaking important. I know that sounds so cheesy, but it helps you out so much. If you have a friend and you don't know what to do in a situation, it can just make you feel so much better to know that you have a loyal loyal friend that's going to be there for you. Number 3, use your resources, and this literally goes for all things academic. So especially if you are struggling with a class in particular, I know that obviously this is going to be a little bit different for every person's university depending on how big or small your school is, but no matter what, I always recommend meeting your professor. Obviously if you go to a smaller university, that's going to be very easy, but if you go to a bigger university, it's going to be a little bit harder. But making yourself known to your professor and meeting your professor and communicating if you're having a problem, it will help you so much more, rather than if you continue to do really poorly in the class and you're not asking for help. It's going to show that you don't really care about your grades or your class, and you're just going to keep doing bad. So obviously if you go to your professor and acknowledge that you're struggling with whatever is an assignment or a chapter or something, acknowledging that you're struggling is so important. And going to tutoring centers does not make you stupid. It honestly makes you very, very smart, because you're understanding that you don't understand. You're acknowledging that you don't understand something and you're going to get help for it. Plus, a lot of universities put a tutoring center or a student activities fee in your tuition. So you're paying for tuition, so you're paying for that fee, you're paying for that tuition. It's important to use your resources. That is the big idea over all of this. Number 4, make an effort to be involved. So obviously these things are going to vary depending on your major, but almost every major has an honor society or a honors chapter, and getting involved in those things and making sure that you're doing well, that can also help you out if you're wanting to meet new people, showing your interest in things that you are studying, or even extracurricular groups. I know that my gym at my university, they do dance classes and whatnot, and then there's also a CrossFit. So if you're into fitness and all that kind of stuff, that can be really beneficial for you, and you can take whatever classes that you'd like. Or say that you really like to go watch basketball, obviously ask some friends around, see if they want to go watch basketball, and you can go to games together. Just making sure that you're making an effort to be involved in your school and not just sitting in your dorm room, because I understand that school is very important, but it's also very important to enjoy your time while you're there. You're there for 4 years. It's important to enjoy your time. Number 5, do not be afraid to ask for help. And I know that this sounds very simple, but especially if you are more shy, or if you feel like you're struggling and you don't want to let anybody know, and it's kind of a pride thing. Honestly, again, we go back to the tuition thing. You are paying for your education. This is not high school, where high school was free. You are paying for your education. If you are not doing well, it is okay to ask for help, and it is important to ask for help. The entire purpose of getting an education is that you are learning more, and obviously we do not all know it all. That's why we're here. That's why you are learning in the environment that you are. You are getting an education to better yourself and to constantly learn. So not helping yourself honestly can hinder you so much, and it can make your grades suffer. That is something that I have learned very many times. Go to your guidance counselor, go to a professor, go to a counseling center that normally is on all universities. Just use your resources, and I promise that it will be very beneficial to you. Number 6, finding a balance. We are at school. We have classes to do. We have extracurricular activities. We like to go to the gym, but finding a balance for all these things is honestly the sweet spot. And I know that it can be definitely challenging, especially if you have a heavier school load that week. So say that you have a few exams, obviously you're going to be putting a lot of time and effort into studying for those exams, but also making sure that you are taking time out of your day to enjoy your meals. This is something that I personally is a rule for me. I do not do any work while I'm eating, which sounds very silly, but I have learned to where if I get so busy, I will eat while I'm trying to do my work, just so that way I can go ahead and get stuff done, and I can't even enjoy my lunch because I'm trying to do work. So no matter how busy you are, I always make sure to set aside time to spend 15-20 minutes and just eating and relaxing. So I like to watch YouTube videos obviously during my lunch break. That's something that I like to enjoy. So just making sure that you are enjoying your time and making sure that you're keeping self-care in mind as well. It's so freaking important, because obviously if you're spending 20-30 hours a week studying, that is a ton of time, and I promise that your your sleep schedule is probably suffering. You probably aren't eating as much. You're lacking a lot of things, and it's important to set aside that time. Number 7, do not overwork yourself. So I know that there is an expectation that if you are not doing the absolute most, then why even do it at all? I know people that took 18, even 21-hour semesters for a majority of their time in college. A lot of people do that so that way they can double major or double minor, and at the end of the day they're getting more use out of their degree, which that's totally fine. But overworking yourself, if you are not giving 100% and you're just kind of halfway doing everything, you're not going to benefit from it, A, and then B, your GPA can suffer, because if you're just kind of doing average in your classes, though you might have 2 degrees whenever you walk across the stage, you're not benefiting as much from it because you are not putting as much time and effort into actually learning and studying everything. Number 8 is scheduling study time. So this works especially really great if you also have like a really busy schedule that week. So if you have a couple of exams that week as well as a bunch of homework assignments, setting aside specific times to study throughout that day where you are not on your phone, you're just being quiet, you're listening to music, you are fully 100% dedicating that time and effort into studying. Those are so freaking important, especially if you have really big exams coming up and you know that you need to do very well on them. Setting aside those times to make sure that you are getting that studying in, so freaking important, and it makes sure that you are putting time and effort into studying your assignments and studying for your exams and just making sure that you're going to do well on that upcoming exam. Number 9, turn off work mode, which I know that that can be such a foreign concept to a lot of us, because a lot of us are constantly have the mindset of like work, work, work constantly. And I myself can be really bad at like working from the time that I wake up to the time I go to bed, which obviously that's not very good. You need to schedule in a little bit of time to take a shower, wind down, watch a little bit of TV, watch your favorite Netflix show. Like, just make sure that you're scheduling off some time to where you are not constantly working 24/7. So obviously it's important to make sure that you're getting all your schoolwork done, but it's also super important to make sure that you are getting the rest that you need and setting aside some time for yourself or time with your friends, and just making sure that you're staying in touch with yourself, because obviously we all have very busy schedules, but making sure that you stay sane while doing that is setting aside time for yourself and making yourself a priority. Very corny, but a number 10 is enjoy college. You are there for 4 years, and some people are there a little bit less, some people are there a little bit more, but regardless, you're not in college forever. You are in college for a very short period of time, and take it from a college senior, college flies by. Every year goes faster than the one before. So making sure that you are enjoying your time while you are there is so important, and those are memories that you're gonna literally have for the rest of your life. And I have met friends at college that I already know that I'm gonna have them for the rest of my life. But that is pretty much it for this video. I really hope that this was super helpful for you guys. These are all personally things that I knew that I wish I knew before I went into college as a freshman, and I really hope that this was very helpful for you guys. So if you guys did enjoy, please be sure to like this video and also subscribe to my channel down below, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.